Okay, let's begin now, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We said we'll do a little quiz,
Oh, we did?
open book.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And goodbye.
So let's do unit 9, and we can do our little open book one. Okay, who's starting?
Okay, the role and responsibility.
Okay, before you start, sorry. When we've completed this chapter, we should be able to understand the role and responsibilities of the trust administrator, understand the duties of the trust administrator, and understand the law relating to trust administration. Okay, you can start.
Trust administration. You got the pension of questions? Do you need that? The last one. Do you need that? Okay. I know you have one. The trust administrator has the overall responsibility to carry out the administration of the trust under the direction and oversight of the trustee. Whilst the discretionary powers of the trustee may not be delegated, the trustee may delegate certain specific tasks to administrators and other agents in relation to the discretion to be made, subject to the terms of the trust instrument. The exercise of the discretion by the trustees is normally shared by members of a trust committee for professional trustees whose deliberations are often documented in trustee minutes, which do not become trust property and are not required to be disclosed to the beneficiaries or court of competent jurisdiction.
What did we say about this? What happened to this? Why? What did we say about the trustees' decisions?
They don't have to discuss them to, the
No, the
beneficiaries.
minutes, when he do his decision, when he makes his decision about giving out or doing a,
It's
anybody could
discretionary.
ask him for that document?
No,
You can ask, but I don't mean you have to
no,
get
that's
it.
not part of the trust.
So that's not a disclosure document?
No.
And who's the trust administrator? Yeah, so,
Employee, not the trustee.
what they supposed to be doing?
They assist them with the administration of the trust, helping their assistant, the trustee.
Okay, so they work for the trustee, they may be an employee of the trustee, but they actually execute the work.
Yes.
I thought that would be like the director's assistant.
Like the trust officer.
Trust administrator,
Yeah.
someone in the office doing all that legwork.
Right. Okay,
The trust administrator is required to be highly trained and skilled in performing the administrative tasks of the trust.
why you think they want them?
Because they're gonna be involved in all the, they're being whole comprehensive slew of duties.
Right, but what we say this is, or what? In what case this is, what kind of trustee this is? It's a professional trustee, right? It's a professional
It's
trustee.
like a company,
Or like a company.
Right, and they
as opposed
pass
to
it
the
off,
person-
what we say about them?
they delegate some of their
No, what we said about them, they hold out to be,
professional.
right, they have certain skills that can, because they stay on license under what?
Unrestricted.
the sen-
They're in the central bank, so they say they can perform these tasks, they selling this to the royal.
The trust administrator must also be knowledgeable of all the terms of and the parties to the trust.
Why he needs to know this?
They have to know.
So they know how to execute.
So what role he playing here? He's what? Who's supposed to know the terms and the parties? Why he have to know that?
Because he assistant trustee.
But why he needs to know that? He's assistant, so what? Why he needs to know this? They're appointed to the trust, they're the trustee, so why you need to know the terms and the parties of the trust?
You can't do nothing without.
working for the
you can't do
trustee,
nothing
so
without
they still
knowing
need
So
that.
what we supposed to be learn, what we learn, what we saying this all about? Appointment to the trust, what you supposed to know?
Well,
Understand the document, the trust instrument.
Right.
Trust.
Right, so why, what we saying about that, if you don't know what happens?
you be
Yeah, you
liable
could be
if
in
you
breach of
trust,
trust.
yeah.
That's why
What,
they
you know
have
what
to
I
read it
told,
too.
right, this ties back to what? You all have to know where the tie back to, that's why I don't see your tie in it back.
No.
No, where the ties back to, when we doing a point, when we appointed.
What I'm doing is due diligence.
What we supposed to do when the trustees
Read
appointed?
the instrument, read the
Yeah.
document.
Know the terms and of the trust and what you're supposed to be doing, eh? So where that is? Look on page 45 at the bottom. We just did this last, on Wednesday. After being appointed to the trust, the trustees are advised to take certain actions to ensure the preservation and protection. Should review the trust instrument to ensure he's aware, he's knowledgeable of the potential provisions and to avoid potential breach. 45, bottom of the page.
And how this also apply to the trust administrator.
No, this not, remember the trust administrator only an employee of the whole. So the trust administrator is carrying out the duties of a legal person, which is the trustee, who's maybe a corporation, but you actually you executing their duties. So this only shows you that the trustee have these people acting on their behalf. But they have to do these things, so it's the same thing. So I just want you to see that the administrator only working for the trustee.
So I have to do the same thing though.
Right, so when you're thinking about what he has to do, remember that he's only acting. Yeah, so this the rules that apply. You could say he's working there, but this is what he has to do. That's why he has to be highly skilled, because when we say the trustee has to be, where we will find him. Yeah, where that is. Of the trustees, unit 5, remember? Professional trustees are often held to a higher legal standard of duty, care, and skill than individuals, since they represent themselves as possessing certain specialized knowledge and skills in trust administration, as page 43. So just tie it, that's how you'll be able to understand it better, that you're pulling back what you already learned and apply, you see?
So, can you say the trust administrators sound like an intermediary, or do you just
No,
use that
they
for the
working
lawyers
for
and
the
stuff?
They working,
Yeah,
they
so you
working.
just use that like for the lawyers and accountants or something?
Because they really carrying out the duties of the
The
trustee.
trustee, so they're just an arm of the trustee.
No, they actually work there, so they don't separate them to say.
Oh, they don't?
No, what, because then what you could say, oh no, that wasn't me, that's the trust administrator.
You got
No, that's, if I get knocked down by Pepsi truck, you think I were who driving the truck? I go
So
in the
that's why
Pepsi.
when they do the insurance, they do it on themselves and their employees.
Right, well, the employee will be mentioned, or they will cover them, but you have to cover the company, because you don't care if the truck driver knock you down, and what is, you know who the deep pocket is, yeah.
No, we nominated two.
So ain't nobody coming after no trust administrator.
Wait, two, no?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, significant reliance is placed on the trust administrator to provide the trust committee with the information needed to deliberate and decide on how, when, and to whom it will exercise its discretion, particularly in relation to any distributions to the beneficiaries of the trust.
So usually they appoint a committee, eh? Yeah, so the trust committee, but then these administrators are responsible for certain portfolios and trusts under there. So it may be 100 trusts and they have about 10 administrators, they give each one 10. And you have to know your trust so you can give them sufficient information for them to make it decisions. So if a beneficiary sends in a request, they can answer, because you'll be able to tell them what's going on in the trust.
So the final decision regarding like disbursement and stuff like that will lie with the trust committee?
Yes.
Okay, but you as the trust administrator will prepare,
You just work the
yeah,
trust,
you
yeah.
just manage it.
Yeah, but the
you have the
committee,
documentation to say,
Yeah.
okay, so-and-so requested.
right, because
so
then you
whatever.
need minutes, because you
Yeah.
just don't make decisions without,
So that's like the board making decisions.
Now, that's internal to your organization.
Yes, yes, yes.
But that's not for anyone else. That's the cover, that's so I'll know if I need to fire you. I have this, to see what you didn't do, and that's how come I made a mistake in answering the beneficiaries. Because they suing me for breach of trust, but I want to know what you do, right? So there's another mistake I get really.
Now, the trust
But your job
committee,
is the supervisor.
Yeah, but that's what you giving me, so I based on what you gave me,
You mean
I was
the
able to
state,
make a
yeah.
decision. So the trustee committee, depending on what you know,
The accuracy.
because they shouldn't have to read the file, they should be able to
Oh, you gotta
scan.
summarize it for them.
Right, so you should be able to tell me, well, this is a beneficiary, they're supposed to get entitlement based on this and this and this, because you know the trust document. But I shouldn't have to read the trust document as a committee.
Right, do your job.
Right, right, so
So
that's,
the trust committee, those are appointed persons then, or they from the journal?
it's
It's probably
important, it's
other-
internal, it's a part of the
it's-
trust company, but it's an
Probably other
executive.
trustees.
No, it's in the trust company itself, but they're more executive members.
Mhm.
Because the trust administrator probably just a junior,
Yeah,
right.
officer or
But
something.
then you have executive committee in most of these offshore banks, they have like the directors, the assistant vice presidents. They make decisions for the company, so they use them. Okay,
Additionally, trust administrators should understand and be knowledgeable of the trust laws governing governing the duties of trustees and the administration of the trust generally. The standard of duty and care expected of trust administrators is a relatively high one, given their level of expertise and experience, and considering their responsibilities in relation to assisting in the discharge of the trustees' duties.
yeah, so they want you to come here and do your class, so they can say, well, you know, she would have done enough to be able to,
Understand?
yeah. So that's why some of them would pay for you to come, so they don't want to, yeah, they protecting themselves.
Yeah, but this is too detailed to sit down in the office to,
Which one?
I mean, the basis of it is too detailed to sit down in the office and say, well, we can just teach you
Yeah,
this.
because you could learn, but then you need to understand the
Yeah,
fundamentals and
yeah,
how
yeah.
it become and all.
Yeah. The trust administrator is encouraged to review the trust instrument and documents and to familiarize him on the beneficiaries, their entitlements, the trustees' duties and powers generally, the appointment of agents, trustee investments, and the overall terms governing the trust. The settlor's letter of wishes is also important in this review, as it provides practical guidance for the administration of the trust, although not legally binding.
Because what they need to know that for,
The background information.
Right.
How you said the letter, which is to provide practical guidance.
right, because you can know Johnny is a
Who's who?
drunk and
Who's who?
this one is spend
Spendthrift and
money,
who's
yes, yes. Okay, next.
The trust administrator's organization skills are critical to the effective and efficient administration of the trust. The diarizing of recurring and important events, the preparation of trust files, and the use of comprehensive database in relation to the trust are important organizing tools for the proper functioning of the trust. Particular legal and tax opinions, changes in trust legislation, amendments to the trust, and changes to the beneficiary's circumstances must be duly noted and reviewed by the trust administrator in order to provide professional assistance and administrative support to the trustees.
So why you think they need these and what you need to know that for? Because your thing may need to be amended or something can't work anymore based on amendments in the trust legislation.
Make some
And what will
changes.
affect you now, law, because VAT gone up, this one, you see? They amended the trustee act now, you can't do that no more, we have to do something else, so things like that. So you have to be abreast, of what's going on. So the changes in the environment all around, you need to know about.
And changes in the beneficiary circumstances, so if they became a waster, if they were.
They might
if
have-
Now, how you will
they
know
might have
what
been-
changes in the
Someone by
beneficiary?
the settlement might
You
tell
mean,
you.
in terms of
Someone might
beneficiary,
tell you.
Who gonna tell you?
the
settler
settler,
might
if
tell
he's still living, or he or she is still living, or some other.
Or
What if
protector?
that
Law
beneficiary,
protector is still in place.
what if
Yeah.
the other beneficiary came forward and started
That may not be
acceptable, or you just
credible.
make notes of it?
Well, you just make note, but I mean,
Yeah, that might
unless
not
you
be
could
credible,
substantiate
yeah.
anything.
That might be,
Yeah.
that might
And
be
then
an
usually
issue.
you don't wanna be communicating with them unless you're
Yeah.
supposed to.
And you don't wanna even encourage that.
Mhm.
Cause it started to cross.
Yes,
the lines.
right, cause then they say, well, you know, I just do this, I want you to go to court, I want you to be discharged.
Yeah, so they could set you up on.
Right, and then what happens to your little Professional reputation. Mhm.
Equally important, trust administrator must know and understand the investment objectives of the trust and the overall objectives of the trust. The trust administrator is instrumental in ensuring the trustees follow these investment objectives and obtain the relevant consents and approvals from any person duly appointed in the trust instrument in order to execute the investment strategy of the
Who this
trust.
is? Who gonna have this power?
The trustee.
What happens when the trust instrument in order, who's the person who may be directed to do it? When we talking about powers of investment in this thing, this just happened in the trustee amendment act.
The power over.
Right, they have some powers of investment, remember? And
They
then
could
what gonna
direct you,
happen?
they could direct you to say where to invest it, and if you do that, and if something goes wrong, you're not responsible.
So where we'll find that? You remember that? You all remember that?
I remember reading it, but I don't remember which chapter, but I remember the power.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Where we were dealing with that when if you follow their duty, they can't hold you
responsible.
Right, so where we could find that?
Um,
See, you could make a note and keep tying these things back, you see? So this like reconciling your accounts, you just see how it be. See, I read that earlier, oh, now that's how this come in, you
I
see?
do remember reading it.
So that's why I want y'all to keep pulling it back, so you could get the full picture.
I think that is in chapter 6, maybe?
Duties and powers.
Chapter 6 is,
I remember it because it stood out, because he's not responsible once he takes the advice of the trustee.
that's
After
page
what?
50, is that
Number
it?
7 for the power.
Mm-hmm.
Right, once he take their advice, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter
You all looking for it? Anybody else
I
looking?
looking for it.
Where your book? You looking? You gotta help us look. I remember we doing this test for 11 o'clock, and then you'll leave me the paper. Open book test.
Oh,
So let's find his powers so we could put this together.
What is it that?
Yeah, that's a quiz. Y'all gonna do the quiz beforehand, or I need to put a cover over the page?
What?
We can do that. That's your open book test. That's the
Okay.
yeah. You all found it?
No, I didn't find it.
It right there. Anyone found it? I thought we did. I don't remember we do it.
Seven, chapter one, because that's a different chapter.
Yeah, no, that ain't ours. You're talking about the one where we read.
Okay, okay.
You get it?
Chapter seven,
I get the question.
we trying to define the trustees not held, but
Okay.
if he takes
I think
the
that's-
month
that's
instruction
really,
from the
yeah.
power holder.
No, we just do it.
We just do that. This we gonna be good.
Remember when they said the trustee won't be, would this person also come up?
I see something about them.
Gosh, that's one of the ways he is exempt from being liable.
Right.
Because the power holder gave him.
So where that is?
instructions to do it.
Tell me
I
where
know
that is.
something.
So get it.
I mean, something really hit it on page 50, right? But
What 50 tell you? Let me see if that's what you're supposed to do. See, y'all gonna do open book test, y'all have to find these things. Mhm.
Once a trustee acts in good faith and exercise his powers of discretion regarding the distribution of trust property will be protected by the law. Subject to the fair sense according to the terms of the trust and to the Constitution of the law.
Oh, we do that when we was just finding who the power holder was.
I think that was further down. That was further before.
Okay.
so we already gone over it?
Mm-hmm, we
Yeah.
just do it, see, she just recite what we say. Cause that's what's in what or what. What kind of trust that was in? What kind of trust that was in?
What's that? Discretionary.
No, what that was, what kind of trust?
What's that thing?
Directed? Remember that?
This is page 21. A trustee may absolve from any liability for loss to the trust where it is acted under instruction or directions of a power holder, or fail to act in absence of a direction from a power holder with responsibility for investment. That's page 21, paragraph 2.
Okay, so you see, this would, remember I told you we were doing it? Remember when we were dealing with this section 81A?
On the
Remember
section
that?
13 of the trustee amendment act.
Remember we were discussing this power thing and we had to go back over this?
I have it highlighted in the
Mhm.
older part.
Remember we went, I know we just did it, when we were doing the questions and you all were having, back and forth on this. You all remember this?
I
Nobody?
think it is noted again, but I know it's noted.
Kira, you remember it? So look on page 21 and highlight it. And then tie it back to this.
Yeah, I know.
Remember we went over it?
Paragraph 2.
So that's what that is. That's a statutory duty in there, eh? Where he'll be absorbed statutorily, eh? So you better put section 81A under there.
It's the trustee now.
See paragraph 3? Yeah.
Where you, what page you on, 21? You're on 21. You better come back to this class.
So sorry. Thought I was about to.
Yeah.
The wind just blow down.
Oh. So now we see what they talking about, eh? When you
Yes.
tie it back. Yeah? Okay. The trust administrator.
The trust administrator is always required to discharge his administrative tasks and responsibilities within the context of the powers granted to the trustees within the trust instrument and terms of the trust generally. Another administrative task of the trust administrator is to obtain and carefully review and analyze the bank and investment statements in relation to trust assets. The trust administrator may also be required to make inquiries of bankers and investment advisors and investment managers in relation to the asset holdings of the trust, and in some instances, inspect trust property to ensure that it is protected and preserved in accordance with the terms of the trust and generally.
So that's a part of him being appointed and
So they
Carry
actually
out
go
his
out to
duty.
look at property.
they should.
As the
Audio,
beneficiaries.
oh, sorry.
Only what?
Audience.
You represent?
Yeah, you're an
You're
employee,
agent.
Cause you know, sometimes people buy property
On
over
sight
here,
unseen, right?
you just a regular Joe Blow buying property, you don't even go and see what's going
Sight
on.
unseen.
Yeah, cause you should just go and see,
So
people
when
don't
you
even
do it,
inspect
you
the
go on the
houses.
check, you have like a checklist?
If you mean chocolate, depending on what it is. Like, sometimes it'll be a car, or it'll be an actual big property
Right,
somewhere out west or something like that.
just to
And
make sure, cause people encroaching on properties all the
Yeah,
time.
they do on it.
They put a whole fence up around your property, you wouldn't even recognize you.
Water's
Yeah.
taking it.
They put up a fence that means they adversely possessing your property and giving notice to the world that
That day this
you
morning.
can't come in here. And until you push it down, they upright, so you could just push it down.
Maybe I know why you think.
Yeah,
That's like the yellow white pulling up the fence poles,
Yeah.
right?
Not
Which to
even
me
in
she
hers.
shouldn't do.
I know.
She should have called the police.
Yeah, but she pulled it up, but I'll put it back down, because it isn't hers.
Yeah, but I
But
was
she said
thinking,
she
when
had
I saw
papers
it,
too.
I was like, who gave her the
No,
right
she
to
don't
pull
have
up the
papers.
man's? No, she was
She
saying
said she
doing
was
it for a
watching
friend,
it.
right?
Ain't no watching it, she
No.
watching it for her.
But she said
She
she
said she-
planted the plant.
Yeah, so that already
What
tell you.
nonsense was that?
So that, what that means?
She trying to
She
stake
feeling-
claim to that to say, I can't
Yes,
let it, I
that's an
can't for it.
affidavit
And
evidence.
somebody, but I didn't like that because my thing is you call the police if you feel like somebody doing something illegal, you call the police, you don't go there trying to pull up and thing.
Yeah, but then it would be, I'll put my fence pole, every time she pull up, she'll
Put
be
it
on
right
there all
back.
night.
Yeah, put it
Yeah.
right back. I hope he put it
Yeah,
back.
and I'll have some big boulders to keep it up.
Bring the
And
tractor.
let me see you move that boulder.
Yeah, bring the tractor to put the boulders
Yeah,
down.
but she, you see how
But I didn't like that when I
she was
saw that.
fighting vigorously, 'cause and I could tell you, she's saying, Lord, I don't have, I have this in the
That's for
vibe.
me.
And listen, she
And
really
now it is
not
man
five
come back,
drop
and this
Yeah.
black man on top of that.
But you see, that's what, that makes Bahamians aware that you sitting here and these people claiming they ain't no rich people, they just,
They getting rid of you. That's
they
what they
claiming,
doing.
and
Cause
poor
they have
people,
the
some poor
knowledge, see,
people
remember
don't,
now.
yes.
They know if I do this, and
They
we
know
sitting
the
right there
laws.
oblivious, right?
Yes.
Right, cause she's a lawyer.
Yes, so that's why the
So she
privy,
know
the
better.
privy council,
That's why
no,
she
she
know
know
the plant,
better,
the plants.
she know better than Tatifa, she know
No,
better
she
than
know
you.
to plant the plant,
Yeah,
so
that's a
later
part
she
of
can
keeping
say,
it-
I've been caring for this,
Yeah.
when it's time for the
And that's
sun.
something you can see, cause
Well,
you'll
but
say,
you-
oh,
but
I,
You can't acquire nothing like that, right?
Yes,
Yes, that's why she did it.
that's why you doing it.
Hold on, so if I keep taking care of something,
If you take care of your neighbor, let's say you have
Yeah.
a vacant
And it's
property
like,
on the
it's
side.
20
you-
years, eh?
You
it's
clean
12
it.
for you to get it started, you just have to be squatting on it
Yeah.
for 12, and then
well,
20
then that
years
means
is
the land across the road from me and stable.
If
then.
you clean it
That's
up.
mine then.
But if you
No,
clean
now
it-
what have you done to dispossess the people?
Right,
We've
but
been cleaning that yard, like, cause it is grow bush
do you park your car
so
on it?
high.
And park
If I
your car
park
on
my
it?
car on it,
Cause all of that count, right?
Yeah,
Listen.
but then you need to put a notice to the owners that you trying to dispossess them of their property. By putting
So
up
you
a
put up a physical
fence.
sign, or-
If you don't put up no fence, I don't have no regard for you. You've been putting rocks, I see you doing it, long as you didn't go no further than that. There's always an argument.
Calling the tractor, cleaning
man,
that
it's-
at
Put the
least.
fence
To me, it don't
up.
make
Since
sense.
we've been in Stapleton,
Doing all
that
these
property
things.
been there,
As
and
long
we've
as
been
the
cleaning
deed
that
say-
off
Put the
every
fence
year.
up.
We've been
They
there
don't
40 plus years.
recognize that, cause first in time,
But there's no account for how long you really be there. I can go get one old shack and put it in.
yeah, but you
See.
see, that's what you have to go before the court with certain information and affidavit evidence,
So
and people also
possession
have
is
to.
9/10 of the law,
Yeah,
like they say.
so that's what
putting
it
up the
is.
shack
It's
and that.
actual or factual. Either you have papers, you actually were in possession, or factual means you have the
Live
papers.
there.
You have papers for it. So if you see somebody, if you know you have a property, you won't been on it for a long time, you better check it out. Cause people
So-
over there.
So let's say I want to get in contact with the person who owns that property.
Mm-hmm.
How would I do that?
Why you won't get in contact with them?
Let's say I want to buy a property.
But then you could reach out to them, but if you were trying to do it,
You
but
don't
most
have to
payments
buy
trying to
it.
steal
They
it.
try to take it.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
Take it that away.
But you could find that out, just go to lands, lands and
survey.
survey, you could find that physical planning, if you don't see it there, and then real property tax.
I think you pay $10, you go in and just.
So I saw an example of this the last election in 2017. The MP came through our area and he paid a tractor to clear down because the residents was complaining that a vacant property is. So he was clearing down the properties, right? So this is one right next, $2 from my house. So the tractor came that morning and cleared down, and it must be within 20 minutes. Actually, while the tractor was still clearing down, the real owners must be show up
Yeah.
because somebody must be calling them and say, "Look here, they taking your property."
Yeah,
And I tell you, in a day,
they
that
put a
fence was up.
Yeah.
With lock and everything,
Yeah.
clack, clack, clack. And it was just amazing. But
Yeah.
as I came back home, fence was up.
Listen, but out west, like you have a lot of properties, we just see fence around it.
Yeah.
Just fence, just fence.
Yeah.
But then, you know,
They- they
a lot of the
inherit it
people
now.
don't even live here, and some of them, their children supposed to get it, and then there's a lot of generation property where people don't even have the money to go and properly probate estates and all that stuff. So that's how people get to steal other people's property.
Well, that's bad, because if you pay for a piece of property and it ain't the person
Yeah,
who's the
but
owner of that property.
But that's what they do.
Carry
it's
on.
the
So
real
I would
deal.
That situation where they knocked down the church,
But that was in theirs.
that wasn't there.
But they had the
How-
building on it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but then
you had
that's,
to
I
see
would,
them
I
bricks
mean,
go up
most
from-
people don't even take a building off, they just inherit a
Take your
whole building.
Yeah,
They
You see?
carry on, but they do that.
But
What
the
I'm
people
saying
would
is-
put up the church couldn't contest it because I guess they didn't fulfill the time requirement.
No, they were trying to squat, or they said they purchased it from
They
someone.
were saying I think they
They
were saying they
purchased it?
purchased it, but the
Yeah.
whole church was already up when Frankie them knocked the church
Yeah, but
down.
that ain't nothing to do with me, who was a
Frankie.
landowner.
I don't know, Frankie
built
get
it.
all this
Oh,
land.
You expect
Because that's how
Frankie
they
to
get it.
behalf to
Because
anybody?
all of them could just squat, they
But I'm
just squat.
saying that
and-
they had the building there when they have.
But now
some-
remember, that ain't Frankie only. Y'all keep saying Frankie, we need a face.
Well, the
Mhm.
Yeah.
whatever. But
You
yes,
have a
that-
whole group of them.
Oh, you know, only
But my
person
question
on
with
that
the
one,
church-
huh?
A lot of people feel like he's the only,
Yeah.
he
No, you
wasn't
have
even,
all
he wasn't,
return quests,
Like you
you
say,
have
he's
all
the
these
face,
other
so
people,
people
yeah.
just look at him.
he wasn't even the lead shareholder. The
No,
lead- the
cause
lead
Bradley was
shareholder-
chairman for the longest, he's the founding.
And
but
before,
I
and
didn't
before
know that.
Bradley, it was Bismarck Coakley.
Yeah, but Bismarck
I
died.
still feel like they had to thief that land. There's no way they inherit all that.
They didn't inherit it, remember
They
they
probably
did it under a
purchased it.
certificate of title. Just like that's Quieten, you get a
What's the
certificate of title.
title?
That's how you get title under
So they
Quieten.
just took it?
The court gives you a certificate of title.
So you could just take it?
Yeah, you nobody claiming it, I just sit here and I take all the property. But now some people may have been living in the middle there. And
So-
squat.
You can't
Hold on,
touch them.
okay, so if I
No,
say,
they say they was in the middle there, but what did you do to cause me not to put you off this property? You didn't file any, remember in the Bahamas, first in time is the owner.
They
Who registers
use, so what
first?
they do is they use their knowledge to exploit the people.
That's all it
That's all
is.
it is.
Yeah.
That's
But
all
that's
I'm
very
hearing.
So if you
evil.
They
Yeah,
use their
but
legal
that's what
knowledge to exploit the people.
But that's what most of the rich people are over here, that's how they get what they get.
Sharks.
No,
Yeah.
but if you already
Question.
have so much, like, why
don't
didn't
care
you
about-
let people in
they
Pinewood
don't
and
care.
them properties? They
You
are,
ever
they
heard about
own
greed?
so much.
they had,
GRED?
cause
You
they
know
have
what
so
word
much,
about-
they
you know
trying
what
to
word
get
about
much
you?
more, you know.
But
they
then
have
what
so
I'm saying
much.
is your lack of, what I'm saying is,
Knowledge.
I can't see me
Ignorance.
building on a place and I'm not certain that I have clear title.
So question.
That's foolishness.
But they say they went to banks and stuff, those people, eh?
But where they get the title from? The person never even had good title, so you have to
That's
blame the
what a
lawyers.
lawyer,
So question.
exactly.
Yes.
So question, like,
Hmm? Yeah, they have their own
his
law
wife,
firm.
she have a big law firm right across from
Yeah,
our
but he
house.
built that here.
Literally right across the road, that's our home.
So that
So
pays to
that's
be
what's
knowledgeable,
written now.
because all I do is use their knowledge to milk the system.
That's
If you
all.
were squatting on the land and you put in the newspaper, whose property is this, and they don't come to.
That's what they have to do, they have to
Yeah,
advertise it.
you
Nobody's
advertise
reading,
it,
so put it in the
and
paper
how
and
long-
then you could
Nobody
take
can
it
notice
what
it.
it
You could
is.
put it right in the front of
Yeah.
their eye and they ain't even see
Yeah, but I
it.
just feel like they should have taken properties that no one was already living on or something to.
Listen now, remember they gave them the option first to purchase it from them. So you want it,
Extortion.
yeah, what I'm saying is if you have an option, so you figure, well, I don't even want, I'm not paying you anything, I've been here
Been
long.
here 20 years.
So then,
But some of them said they
Probably
were
not.
already paying banks. If I didn't pay by a bank, must see 100,000. Who wanna go pay you another 200?
Yeah, but you see, that's on the bank now, cause
They ain't
when they
nobody
push
gonna
it down,
have
that
that
ain't
type of
nothing to
money
do
to
with
do
me, the bank lawyer the bank have to absorb that loss.
But you have to do your research before you
Yeah.
buy a property. You need to know who.
No,
But
but if
you
you
go to the
and
lawyer
lawyers,
to
you
research
won't
it
think
for
that
you.
have to
Now
go
remember,
to
No,
that
but
lawyer
it's
isn't
still-
acting for you,
No.
that lawyer is acting for the
The
bank.
bank.
You
No,
need
but I
your
mean
own
when you
lawyer,
get your, oh, I see
you
what
need
you're
your own
saying.
lawyer.
So you need to, so, cause the bank could charge you to pay for their lawyer.
That's right,
And then now you need to get your separate lawyer.
right.
Just gotta go land.
But you know, we've accepted that. Why am I paying for the bank's lawyer? Why am I paying for your lawyer? That's your lawyer. You need them to search.
Yeah, I
I
see
could
what
get
you're
my own
saying.
lawyer.
So
The average
question,
person don't know that though. They feel comfortable just hearing that when the bank lawyer doing it,
The
but
average
not
person
understanding
don't
the
know
bank
it.
lawyer
Oh.
represent the bank, ain't
And the
checking
bank
for you.
lawyer sending the title report to who?
The bank.
Okay.
so question,
That's a good
how to receive the title of, you say if you no one on the land, I can receive the title of a land.
You could take it.
You have to do certain
To
things
put up the fence like she
to
said.
dispossess the rightful
Why they
owner.
don't go
We
teach
can
the
do
land
after
and
class,
do
I'll be
something?
ready to check.
He trying to get information to go do some takeover, do
But how
some,
long?
Secret, they trying to make that.
do some more style takeover.
That's the one
If
next to the
Frankie,
park.
if Frankie them
No,
could
that's
have
the one
done
next to the
or-
park. You
or
know, that's Center for the
Neverland,
Education,
do
eh?
something.
So I have a question for you. If you live in somewhere and there's a vacant property behind you, you could extend your, like, let's say your fence, your boundary in here, you could extend that going back on the people's property and
I know the
close
one
it back up.
next to the
And if they don't kick up about it after a while,
I
it
think
becomes
the
yours.
So you have to
That
be
is a
taking
distress
pictures, I
program.
need some timelines to see how long you've been doing
Okay,
it.
you know.
See,
when
because
Well, you can know.
usually what
driving
people
past
do,
Stapleton,
this how people adversely
Let's say you
possess.
go in
I go on
St.
the
John's.
property and I have today's newspaper
you
next to
drive
me.
past the
Take a
park.
picture, so you
Go
could
down
see
the
I was
corner.
here
Oh,
today.
in the tree.
Right.
Then I go
They're
next,
right on my book.
2 years, take a picture, I'm here today again.
Yeah,
You
See,
see?
same
And
conditions,
yeah,
nothing
you see,
changed.
I
Yeah.
fixed this up by doing this.
Ah.
And that's how, because that's, the you have to show a timeline.
Very
I don't, and then
'cause I
you
was
need
looking at it.
somebody to verify or a neighbor to say, well, you know, I know my mommy was farming this land forever, this and that.
No Photoshop.
So that's how we got this possessor, that's how we get this possessor of family property.
Yeah, but I mean, they
The older persons, because I can't
just
want-
claim it. Ain't nobody could say otherwise. They just say I farm in the land. Who owned the family island could say different. They just say I've been farming this for so much years.
And in a
They
lot
get
of
their,
cases, it
their
is
cousin
true.
who far removed from them to swear an affidavit. They go to the court, do the advertisement. Can't go.
In a lot of cases, it is true, they've been farming the land for years.
Yes, yes.
Like you say, you're taking newspaper or the magazine with the date and the month so everybody can see, like, yeah, this was the issue
Right.
of
I was here
Sports
today.
Illustrated for.
Or you could have your child with you, who 10 or
Uh-huh,
5,
and then
and show them.
going.
See my boy back here with me today. You see, he older than.
Yeah, that makes
That's a
sense.
progression.
Come to the seminar.
Yeah.
So- Okay, this land that they was just claiming, this is Crown land.
Which
No,
one?
no, it don't have to be Crown land.
is just-
It could be private.
Now you know Crown land, you can't claim Crown land.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care how much years you've been on it.
Right, but how were they able to get all this it had someone had to own it previously.
So that's what she said.
It
they
was
take it from
right.
owner.
So what would have been the rightful owner? So you know they sell peppercorn rent long years ago.
I have no idea what
What's
that is.
peppercorn rent?
Like you know you pay $1 or 50 cents for the rent. The government used to let you farm the land and you pay a peppercorn rent. And then eventually, just like Crown land, you could apply to get to own the property. So a lot of these old
It's like
people
rent
used to
to
do
own
that,
and
right?
lease.
They used to
That's
lease
how I
and
said
work the
how
land.
lot them get this-
Yeah.
this you got one family in a settlement own so much from this point
Yeah,
to
because they
next
never used to
point.
give you, they used to
Each
have
front
2
and
tasks
different
more or
things.
less. They measure the land by the amount of time it takes you to work the land per day. So it's 2 tasks or you have 3 tasks more or less. That's a task what a man could do per day. So this ancient and historical, how they measured land back in the day.
That land on Michael Road, nah, they lucky they can't get on to buy that.
Which land?
3.5 acres, almost across from where John J. Burn now. Close
You
there.
mean like it cleared out, like the curry on it?
Clear, you could see like roots and stuff growing up. You could see all the grass area on it. But it's a lot of land.
But they just have to fix the papers first and then sell it.
Somebody probably on it though.
But the swamp land, I know they dredging them necessarily, like find out, but I'm sure, someone tell me,
Again, this is somebody telling you. What I tell you, somebody telling you.
yeah. You see why I look in the ceiling? At the store.
Don't buy what somebody tell you. You verify your own
No,
facts.
but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like,
because it's so easy
swamp
for
land,
everybody to check off facts themselves, you know.
Who owned that?
But the land,
What swamp land?
Swamp land.
Yeah.
why is it swamp land? Why you calling it swamp land?
Because
'Cause
when the rain, the water just,
yeah, but I could say
That's
that
fine,
may
but-
be a whole set of land you own.
No, what they do is they fill it
They
in.
fill it in,
They
they
fill it
claim
in.
it,
they
yeah.
claim it.
And they claim it, yeah.
Dang, but they ain't know where the papers is for that.
Yeah, but that's why you go to court to get papers.
You don't understand,
So,
like it's a take world way.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Dog
telling,
world
I
way.
was telling her over there, because she was like, oh, but why they do it, they ain't worried about what you.
It's a doggy dog world, like,
They ain't
don't care
worried about
about
that.
who own it is, who get papers.
No,
I taking care of this, like I'm into this.
That's all right.
I think about me and my family and
That's
my
like the property in
children, right?
Stapleton. I'm into that.
You gotta put a fence around it.
Okay, let's do,
All right.
let's have so we could do our test.
Okay, right, stop
The
now.
trust administrator, as always.
And
Oh, we
you guys
already
get
did that as the beneficiaries.
another- Okay. As the beneficiaries of a trust are required to be properly informed in accordance to the terms of the trust and or trust law, like we doing in this class. The trust administrator must keep the beneficiaries fully informed of the trust and any changes to the trust, inclusive of providing them with information regarding the trust accounts and the decisions of the trustees that may affect their entitlements or are in response to their request on a timely basis.
Now, this is mandatory. What do we say about this? What do we say about him informing the beneficiaries?
Needs a new.
I don't think it's mandatory.
Discretionary.
Yeah, so he could decide who he's giving this information
It's
to. Where we go,
discretionary,
where we
right?
must tie this back to.
Now, hold on now.
But it's not mandatory, right?
That don't stay goes, that ain't it.
You
No,
saw
where we go
Julia.
find that? Tell me where we go find the answer for that. y'all working as hard because y'all don't know right where to go to look for this? I thought y'all gonna have this reconciled. Where we gonna go
Being
back?
reconciled, yeah. And this is under the duties of the trust administrator, officer.
So we can find it.
I don't know, page 23.
23. We going way back there?
No, I think
No,
that's
we
more
up
like
here.
in 51, 52, but I'm looking for three.
The beneficiaries' rights to information,
Where are they?
23.
No, you going too far back. I talking about what
The
we just
trustee
talked about.
is,
It's something to do with the trustee minute.
No, where the trustee, could give information, but you don't have to.
Oh,
trustee and all the trustees.
That's the, but I talking about since we've been reading with the trustee. Why he don't want it to give it to them, why? What do you say, what could
Trust
happen?
them to,
So it's fighting.
yeah.
So this was one of the documents and all that.
Well, I thought they were entitled to get it based on
Information, no,
Yeah.
they could get
Yeah,
certain
but
Site
Yeah.
information, not in minutes and stuff like that, but
Well, in fact, probably the information was specifically related to them.
it's still, it's still in chapter 9?
No, we going back to when we began with 5.
Oh, okay.
trust information is the size of this, trustee is documented reasons and discussions by trust committee for the trustee's discretion in the exercise of his discretionary powers. These rules are protected from disclosure of the trustee act ultimately as they are considered trust property, subject to the beneficiary's right to information and access.
But they're right to information.
They allowed to get the documents and statements.
Where we go find them?
So I've been doing this now, I'm not a minute before the real death. Not too late before the real death. It's not the trouble.
So you could just read and keep marrying back, you see?
Yeah, I'm gonna, well, this document just keeps building.
Yes.
Building.
Anybody got it? You got it? You looking? Okay. Okay, let's go back to your thing, and then you'll find it later, when you read it. Go back to the one, read it for them.
Okay, the timely exercise of the trustees.
Wait, no, we're gonna tell them what the beneficiaries right to information.
Which page are you on here?
That's 23.
I thought you said it wasn't that far.
It's not, I'm saying, it right inside these chapters we just do, we went back over it. Why he wouldn't disclose, because what was gonna happen, what we say about that?
Beneficiaries, the usage,
Right.
right, it will come.
One primary reason for prohibition on right to information is the possibility of a challenge to the trustee's discretion by aggrieved beneficiaries.
So let's start with their right to the information.
Says both statutory and common law require that the beneficiary has the right to information regarding trust, regarding the trust, except information that may be prohibited by law. Section 83 of the Trustee Act 1998 gives beneficiaries of Bahamian Trust the right to information under certain specified conditions and in certain specified circumstances. One such right is the right to information regarding the production and receipt of trust accounts as and when requested by the beneficiaries. Beneficiaries have a right to inspect trust accounts and demand information and explanations on them. Under common law, beneficiaries are not entitled to demand copies of trust accounts unless they are prepared to pay for them.
And section 83.
Under Section 83 of the Trustee Act, beneficiaries are not allowed to obtain information regarding trustees' deliberations in relation to distributions to them. Therefore, beneficiaries cannot demand documents such as minutes of meetings and correspondence between the trustees, particularly those which may specify the trustee's reasons for the exercise or non-exercise of his discretion in a discretionary trust.
And what's the primary reason? One of the primary reasons.
One primary reason for this prohibition on the right to information is the possibility of a challenge to the trustee's discretion by aggrieved beneficiaries. Additionally, beneficiaries have the sole and exclusive right to sue trustees in relation to breach of trust or any legal action regarding the administration of the trust and their duties and obligations to them.
And what section we supposed to have there instead of 23?
83.
No, what section we supposed to have, where it says it should be noted, that section what? What that should be? Did you say you got it?
It's like 24.
Yeah, 24, the trustee allows the trustee to insure themselves.
Sure. Yeah, that's section 24.
Okay, we tie that back, let's move on. You should have some good review right there for that. All right.
The timely exercise of a trustee's discretion in accordance with the terms of the trust instrument is another responsibility of the trust administrator. Any inaction or omission on the part of the trustee in exercising his discretion as mandated by the trust instrument may result in liability for breach of trust. The trust administrator must ensure that any relevant consents or notices that are required to be obtained prior to the exercise of the trustee's discretion are obtained in advance of the exercise. This task is important to avoid any liability to the trustees for any losses to the trust which may have been experienced due to the improper or invalid exercise of the trustee's discretion. Since trustees are required to account for trust property, they are mandated by law to keep financial records and accounts regarding trust property, which may be requested by the beneficiaries at any time.
And what can happen when they request it? They are what?
They will give what relates to them. They're
And then-
entitled to the information.
And then what happens if they want copies?
They need to pay for it.
Okay.
trustee's duty to account is related to the beneficiary's general right to information regarding the state of the trust and trust property. However, trustees may prohibit the beneficiaries from having access to information, even information that they are allowed to obtain, if in their opinion to grant such access or provide such information would be harmful or detrimental to the trust.
You remember now?
So even though you have a right to the information, they could still decide to
Remember what
withhold
we
it.
say about that when we went over that? What we say why? Because they could use it against you, eh? They could go, right.
Put you in court for breach of trust.
No, they could expose you. Because then a beneficiary may be, say for instance, I'm supposed to be getting, all us getting dividends, we brothers and sisters or cousins or whatever. I know you getting some money now. I know this one over here, she upset with you about something, she don't think I should be a part of it. You may be an outside child, shouldn't be getting nothing. I know he in France and they waiting on, they don't know he is getting this money from the trust. As soon as I'm gonna advise France, he getting some money. You see what could happen? So that's why you need what's gonna tell you about this. That, why you must keep this information away from them. Who's gonna tell you that? They strangers. They strangers, so the service can tell you that how. So what your guide is all the time?
The letter of
Cause you don't know these people,
Just
eh?
trust and
The trust instrument won't tell you that,
No.
cause you don't know, they don't disclose that.
So even though, just fundamentally though, even though they're entitled to certain information, it's still at the discretion of the trustee whether or not to give it to them.
Because it
If
will
it
put the
appears that
trust
they will be,
Used against the trust.
right, okay.
So remember, even though it says they have a
entitled to
right,
it,
I
it's
can
gonna
give a
cause
case as to
problems.
why I shouldn't give it
And
to
you
them.
use the letter vicious as your support.
No, remember that don't mean it's
I
good,
know
but
it
you
ain't
could say
legally binding.
what,
So
why.
all of the beneficiaries don't know who each other are.
Usually they do.
They may or may not.
They
They
don't
may have
know
an
what
idea.
percent it is.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's something where you see it could be workable, you may do that, but if you see it's gonna be an issue, you may say, I ain't gonna bother with
Contentious,
this.
yeah, it would be contentious.
But that's why you have to know all of these factors, eh?
How do you know what it is from?
By the information they give you, settlers, letters of wishes, and then you would start
I
interacting with
still
them.
believe you can get some surprises.
Yeah, sometimes, but then you know, this is what happens with you within the trust. Okay,
Section 83 of the Trustee Act 1998 allows beneficiaries to inspect trustees' accounts and other trust documents, except trust minutes. The trust administrator must ensure that such documents are properly presented when requested and are organized in the appropriate trust files. This action is also important in the event that the trustee is asked to give information on the administration of the trust, as may be required by the beneficiaries or the court. The trust administrator must also take special care to ensure that amendments to the trust instrument are done in accordance with any express powers reserved within the trust instrument to do so or any other method prescribed. The amendment to the trust instrument must be clear and unequivocal, and the trust instrument administrator should ensure that all changes to be made in the administration of trusts, example, changes in beneficial entitlements, consents, etc., due to the amendments made to the trust instrument are duly noted. The trust administrator should not only protect and preserve trust property due to the proposed amendments, but also ensure that the legal protections and the remuneration of the trustee are not adversely affected. He must also take care that the proposed amendments are not contrary to existing law, create additional responsibilities, or increase the risk exposure of the trustees without adequate legal protection or increased remuneration.
so that's why you'll know all good laws, changing environment and all that stuff, eh?
And that's why they will have a legal counsel sitting, would be,
They'll send out if they
So
don't
all
have
these
enough.
people watching the environment and
They have to
advisement
be
and trying to
keeping abreast of those
reading the
things.
paper every day.
Yeah.
and-
So they usually have lawyers on retainer outside, because they don't just depend on in-house counsel.
You might miss it.
Yeah,
Not only should the trust administrator ensure that the legal formalities to effectuate the amendment are recognized and executed, But he must also take action in carrying out any and all duties that may assist in the efficient functioning and effective administration of the trust subsequent to the amendment.
Okay. Number one.
Was overall responsibility for the administration of the trust under the guidance and oversight of the trustee.
How's that? We will find that.
Trust administrator.
Where we can find that answer.
63.
63, the paragraph.
The trust administrator has overall responsibility to carry out the administration of the trust under the direction and oversight of the trustee.
Okay. Number two, you continue.
To me,
Mm-hmm.
the exercise of the discretion by the trustees is normally shared by the members of a blank for professional trustees whose deliberations are often documented in trustee minutes which do not become trust property and are not required to be disclosed to the beneficiaries of a court or a court of contempt jurisdiction.
And where we find that?
Same 63,
And what paragraph?
2,
Three.
2, 3, trust committee.
You know, look at what we're looking for, where it is. Go ahead. The exercise is what? Where you see it? You
The
said two,
exercise.
right?
The exercise.
That's two, right? Paragraph two.
Paragraph two.
Yeah, paragraph.
Yeah, members of the
Right
trustee.
here,
Yeah.
list of you.
Okay, Cyril, Carrie. Number three.
The trust administrator must also be blank of the terms of the parties to the trust.
Off.
Highly trained and skilled.
The trust administration must also be what?
Knowledgeable.
Where we'll find that?
Paragraph three.
And I kinda like the same thing,
No,
Paragraph two.
cause I mean.
not highly skilled of the
But-
terms of the
okay.
trust, he has to be
You're supposed to
knowledgeable.
know that, okay.
Okay, number four, try it again.
Okay. Additionally, trust administrators should understand and be knowledgeable of the blank governing the duties of trustees and the administration of the trust channel. So,
What page we'll find it on?
63, paragraph 4,
So additionally, what we should know?
clause.
Trust laws governing the duties of the trustee. Okay, Johnson? Number
The
five,
the trust administrator is encouraged to blank and to familiarize him on the beneficiaries, their entitlements, the trustees' duties and powers generally, the appointment of agents, trustees' investments, and the overall terms governing the trust.
where we
That
find
would
that?
be, the trust administrator is encouraged to review. My page is 59, and
And that's 63
63.
for us. Last paragraph,
that'd be the last paragraph.
okay?
Thank you, sir. Review the trust.
So look on the last paragraph on page 63,
Review the trust instrument.
is to
Review
encourage
the trust instrument.
The trust administrator is encouraged to review.
to review the trust instrument and documents to familiarize himself. Okay, number six.
Me? Section 83 of the Trustee Act 1998 allows beneficiaries to blank trust deeds, accounts, and other trust documents except trust minutes. That would be,
Inspect.
to review, I'm sorry, inspect, right?
Yes, so that's on page
That
65 on
might be
us. That's page 65, second paragraph.
Number 61.
Okay, Sanders. Number 7.
The trust administrator must also take special care to ensure that amendments to the trust instrument are done in accordance with any blank reserved within the trust instrument to do so or any other method prescribed.
Where we find it?
65.
65, paragraph
3.
Okay. And what that is?
express
powers.
powers.
Any express powers reserved within the trust instrument. Number 8, Sanders.
Amendment to the trust instrument must be blank and blank.
Clear, unequivocal. 65, paragraph 3.
Okay, next.
The trust administrator should not only protect and preserve trust property due to the proposed amendments, but also ensure that the blank and blank of the trustee are not adversely affected.
Legal protection and remuneration.
For the legal
Yeah.
protection and remuneration of the trustee are not adversely affected. That's on page 65,
Paragraph
paragraph
4.
4. Okay.
Number
Number 10.
Not only should the trust administrator ensure that the blank to effectuate the amendment are recognized and executed, but he must also take action in carrying out any and all duties that may assist in the efficient functioning and effective administration of the trust subsequent to the amendment.
Where we find that?
Legal formalities. 65,
Last
paragraph 5.
paragraph.
Okay, you're going to look over the questions that we did, that we were doing on Wednesday.
That's what you said.
We write down some of the answers, right? You all write it down, eh? No? Yes, no, maybe, so
Wilson, I thought you were still going to go over some of these, huh?
you want to go over that one instead?
No,
Okay. Let's see if we did all of them. We got 15 minutes, so before we have our open book. Yeah?
We doing a quiz on 4G.
You all have any sheets or no?
If you have some, that'll be good.
I think that's,
I have some, but they are a bit folded.
that's good. Check away.
What
I
about
already
this,
started using my.
what about this case on this 7?
7. Let me open that one.
Trustees of the Board Family Trust.
Okay, let's see.
This one.
Number 7, Zebedee and Alma.
Yeah.
Zebedee and Alma are trustees of the Bowood Family Trust. Tom Bowood is one of the beneficiaries. Clement is a solicitor to the trust. The Bowood Trust has 20% shareholding in Dunn Company. Tom and Clement asked the Dunn Company for information. They both acquire shares in Dunn Company. Tom and Clement are both voted on to board of directors of Dunn Company and earn substantial fees as directors. The company's profitability increases significantly and a profit is made by all shareholders. Has there been any breach of trust in this scenario? If so, what is the breaches? What happens to the profits? So it has been made clear in a line of cases that if a trustee is appointed a director of a company, by reason of the fact that he is the legal owner of shares, that he holds the shares on trust for others. Any fees thereby received by way of remuneration must be held on the same trust for the beneficiaries. The trustee is under an obligation to account as a constructive trustee for any profits received by virtue of the trusteeship. A trustee is under an obligation to account as constructive trustee for any profits received by virtue of the trusteeship. However, a director trustee is not bound automatically to hold any person profits on trust for beneficiaries, but only after proper inquiry as to the facts of the particular case. Thus, if Tom and Clement became directors without reliance on the trust shares, they maintained their substantial fees, even if the shares thereafter helped them to maintain their position. In addition to this point, it would seem that Tom and Clement obtained their shareholding from information supplied to them by Zebedee and Amma. Who's Zebedee and Amma?
Trustees.
Okay. If this private purchase was made because of their position as trustees, or in Clement's case, as a result of his fiduciary relationship as a solicitor to the trust, then there is a possibility that they will be deemed to be constructive trustee of the shares themselves, in a similar fashion as the result in Boardman and Phipps. You all remember Boardman and Phipps? Yeah, we have that in there. That's what we use an example for profits, see? Remember that?
We're using the example.
Let's go to the book, so you can remember when you're looking at these things. When we're talking about the profits of the trustee,
Remuneration.
look on bottom of page 49. Remember that now?
Oh, yeah, you have it highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can't make secret profits, right? Yeah? In this case, a solicitor was held to be the constructive trustee of profits made in certain share transactions because he acquired the knowledge and opportunity to buy the shares by virtue of his fiduciary position. If in this case, with Tom and Clement, then not only will he be held, will he hold his director's remuneration on trust for Zebedee and Amma, but on any dividends that will also pass to the beneficiaries as income from the trust property. However, if there's a provision in the trust instrument authorizing Tom and Clement to receive remuneration for the performance of their duty as trustee and solicitor of the trust respectively, then they may be able to retain some of the fees, and if they are acting in a professional capacity, they may be able to claim some reasonable remuneration if the trustee agrees and in writing. So what we have to do, make sure it's provided for, what we say, what that was, what we talk about. Make sure it's in the instrument, what we say about that. You all remember that piece?
The fees,
The
Remunerated
fees,
as
right.
the
Otherwise, what's gonna happen?
you can't get paid.
Or we have to go where?
court.
Court.
And with the court to determine that under what case?
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Now you
what's
done
that?
For remuneration, what the big case is.
I don't know, I'm no case on there.
It's right on the board. The case where we get remuneration. So that even.
Child
Redo. No.
Redo.
Yes, redo.
Yeah.
We just do redo on Wednesday.
We mentioned it many times.
Mm-hmm. They hadn't given you all open book. I have you all already.
Oh, Lord.
So Clement, as the solicitor,
Mm-hmm.
was only privy to the information because of his job as the solicitor.
Mm-hmm. So what he is?
You said constructive trustee.
Right, but what we looking at him as first? How he get to be in that position? He's a what?
He has a fiduciary duty.
He's a fiduciary.
He's a fiduciary.
Similarly, if they behaved honestly and fairly throughout, the court might exercise its inherent jurisdiction to award them a sum by way of equitable compensation. What that is? Where the court can use this
Sure.
and, yeah? Look at that.
But, no, I still don't understand,
But you don't understand.
Clement was the solicitor, and Tom was the beneficiary, they both were appointed to, they both acquired the shares first, right? And then they were appointed.
Tom and Clement asked Dunn, the Dunn Company for information, they both acquired shares in Dunn Company.
And then they were appointed as directors.
Are both voted on to the board of directors of Dunn.
The company's profitability,
I
so.
know it's substantial fees as directors.
But they also, profited by way of their shares.
Okay, what you begin with, read it from the beginning. Zebedee and Alma are trustees.
Trustees of the Bullwood Family Trust.
Tom Bullwood,
Bullwood is one of the beneficiaries.
okay,
Clement is the solicitor of the trust.
okay,
The Bullwood Trust has a 20% shareholding in Dunn Company.
okay.
Tom and Clement asked the Dunn Company for information. They both acquired the shares in Dunn Company.
Okay, so when they get the shares first?
They got the shares after they required the information.
Yeah. Cause what is Tom? He's the what?
So
He's one of the beneficiaries.
He's a beneficiary.
So he stands to gain from
How he get to know about Dunn?
the solicitor.
No, how he get to know, he's a beneficiary of what? The Bowen Family Trust. And what Bowen Family Trust owns?
The Dunn Company,
20% in Dunn
Dunn
Company.
Company.
Tom and Clement asked Dunn for information. How they get to ask for that?
Because they share, Tom is a shareholder,
Mm-hmm.
and Clement is his attorney.
But how Tom get the information on Dunn? He couldn't ask them directly because he's not the shareholder record.
He had to go through his trust.
He had to go through who?
That's
Trustee.
why,
The
Who that
solicitor.
is?
Clement,
No, who's the trustee?
Alma's the
Zebedee and
Alma.
So Tom gone to Zebedee and Alma, and they give him information, because he's entitled to that, eh? He have a right to information, eh?
Right, other than minutes.
Right, and he could get information on the shareholder, eh?
Mhm.
What about Tom? What about Clement? How Clement get the information?
From him.
No, how he get it?
from
He's a
Zebedee and
solicitor.
Clement would
Because
ask on
Clement
behalf
is
of
the
the trust.
solicitor, he know the information on the trust. So what happened? They acquire shares in Dunn, then they go on the board of directors, and it's substantial fees. How you think they get in that position?
Through the relationship.
They get this information, they get on the thing, and they're able to be on the board. The company's profitability increases significantly, and profit is made by all the shareholders. That's their
The
belief.
solicitor is the
No,
same
there
as
ain't
the
been,
trustee.
there hasn't been any breach because it
The
was,
solicitor is only the solicitor of the trust.
I don't see it as a breach because it's not Zebedee and Alma who doing this. It's Tom and,
But they've been, what we say they're gonna be held?
The solicitor is held to the same standard as Zebedee and Alma.
If
Because
Tom
he has a
and
fiduciary.
Clement became directors without reliance on trust shares, they may maintain their substantial fees, even if the shares thereafter helped to maintain their position. So what that have to be? They have to prove, wouldn't they have to prove they didn't get this as a result of their relationship? Because you just heard the blue start buying and done?
But they have a relationship. That's why they want to share.
It would seem, y'all listen to me read this at all, that Tom
No,
and Clement
no,
obtained
no.
their shareholding from information supplied to them by Zebedee and Alma.
Oh, that right there is a breach.
no.
No,
why is it a
we have to
breach?
prove it. No, they cannot use the information they obtained to, cause
Their
then
own
it's the
benefit.
profit of who?
That's like
It's
inside.
the profit of Tom and Clement.
It's no,
And
it comes
Zebedee
to
and
the
Alma.
trust, because you're using the trust information to springboard you into getting profits.
That's like insider trading.
So what,
Okay,
what's wrong with?
so
that?
where we are again? No person standing in a fiduciary
Tom ain't in a
position.
fiduciary position, he's the beneficiary.
How did Tom get the information?
From Zebedee and Alma, who are the trustees.
And
They are fiduciary.
what is he using the information to do?
To purchase
Invest.
additional shares and to get on the board.
So what is he doing effectively? He's using
The
information he
received.
obtained as a result of him being
Beneficiary, and a beneficiary of the trust.
to what? To advance
To
himself.
increase himself, right.
So what the profits, whose profits are they? That's not yours, that's mine. You only get that because you're using my name to get where you're going.
So that's the profits of trust.
The solicitor, how could I be the attorney for you? You tell me, oh, I own 20% and done. I'm done doing so good now, and
We need to get on board.
No, not
We need
me.
to purchase,
you only telling me that as a solicitor, you telling me that.
you and them too though.
So this was some conflict of interest, breach of trust.
So what happens with it? What happens to the profits? It's constructively given to me because you constructive trustee for me now. You holding those, and what I'm saying is you come into the room to me, I'm your attorney. You say I want to buy the house, right there, they only sell that for $20,000. What I do is the attorney. You tell me you want to buy it, you asking me advice, what I do? I go and buy it
So
before
you
you.
would buy it, yeah.
So what you go to do? You go to the court and say, but for my information, he would know. And so what the court say?
We'll withhold the funds and.
So that's yours, you take that house, that's yours. I don't care if he spent his money, that's on him. But he used your information to advance his purpose,
Okay,
you see?
alright, so.
So what they said, but the trustee can't do, purchase property from
The
trust.
information.
the trust, right?
Yeah, just information.
You can't purchase property from the trust. Why you can't purchase it?
Because you are the trustee.
Yeah, so what you may do, determine the price and then you may.
You could buy it for yourself.
You could
on
buy
a
it
Right,
low
we
for
might
price.
say the trust in trouble, they need this money, I trying to help them out.
Of course you rationalize it,
You see? Yeah.
but I don't,
So a breach of trust could happen even if it's the beneficiary breaching it.
So
In this
how
case-
did okay, so let's go
right,
back
that's what
over.
I'm trying to follow, because if he got information from the trustees to advance himself, why did the trustees provide the information?
Cause he did,
Who
he's
has the right
entitled
of
to it.
The
information?
beneficiary
He's
does,
entitled to
but
it.
the trustee could use his discretion, he doesn't have to give it.
But then he didn't have any reason
No.
not
Not
to.
to
Not
give
to.
it.
Yeah.
No, but he have to give him
Okay,
it
so
once
he
again.
give it, okay, so he give it,
Mhm.
and you use it.
So how does
did
it
he
get
hurt
a
the
breach of
trust?
trust?
No,
Right,
what it- okay.
It didn't hurt the trust, you take away from what
No,
me
I
and
understand what
Margaret.
they're saying.
Yeah,
If
but
the
it's a
solicitor,
okay,
but it
if the
isn't a
solicitor
breach.
was not involved,
Even if the solicitor
this
was
wouldn't
wrong.
be a breach.
No, but
No,
all that,
even if
no,
the
it's not a
solicitor-
breach, you holding some profits for me, give me my profits. Me and you are married,
Mhm.
we working together, we have a house together. I'm making this money on the side, right? I say, oh no, that ain't nothing to do with this marriage, that's my money I'm
On the
making on,
side.
I working on the side. When you go to court, what the court says,
It's community.
what happens? Cause the only way you could make that money on the side is cause I still holding up my side here. You taking away from the house, because that's profits which should come in the house. You can't say, oh, that child on the side has work extra, one extra job for that. No, that means you've taken away from my family time to work an extra job.
Yeah.
I can need half of
So the
that too.
profit should go to the
You
trust
see?
because they use the trust information to gain the money.
Yes,
Right,
that's
that's
what
the,
he
that's the
said.
trust one. You only get that because of me.
Right, and I'm asking if
Yeah.
the solicitor was not involved, would the beneficiary still be?
With the beneficiary, how did the beneficiary gain all this? How did the beneficiary gain exceptional wealth?
Through the solicitor.
True, no,
Mm-mm.
through the trust.
True trust.
From the information he
From the
obtained.
trustees.
From the trust.
Trustees.
Right, so I'm saying without the solicitor being involved, if I'm a beneficiary
Mhm.
and I get this information from the trust
Uh-huh.
and I see the
You
trend,
use it.
I use this information to say, hey,
It's,
let me go buy some shares on my own.
But for you being a part of this trust, you wouldn't have gained that information, so I need that profit, that's a problem.
Interesting.
Mhm. you get the profits from my position, you can't use me
Mhm.
to advance yourself based on the relationship we have. And then say, that's my own.
So what about their, so what would become of their positions? Would they be,
But you don't want the
Oh, yeah.
solicitor no more, eh?
no,
The beneficiary you can't do nothing with, but you know not to give them what.
no information?
Okay, that's what, one of the cases where you stop giving out information, eh? He has a right to it, right?
Yeah.
But why you not giving it to
He
him?
used it against you.
He used it for his own purposes, eh?
So the profits would be held in constructive trust for the trust,
Anyone else need?
for the,
It goes to the
Me.
trust. Let me share it up with all the beneficiaries. You all
so what
take,
about their salaries, their fees and whatever, that's theirs?
that's, listen,
That's
they go on,
separate
they get
part
on the
from the-
board. They get on the board, that's right, eh?
They get the big,
They get remuneration for being, give me that too, the trust, that's the trust one.
yeah,
You get profits from the shares, that's ours, give me that.
so under that.
So all of this
so
thing that
be
they
held in
done
constructive
coming
trust.
back to the trust, all this work they did.
Yeah, but you know, it has to be determined.
So they're, big
So
time
if no one
fees
determined it,
and,
then they get away with it.
If the court, if they could show, well, no, I didn't get this based on this, they could lie.
Or if no one pursue it, like, let's say they do it, but the trustees don't make it an issue.
Yeah, but it's only found out, so that's the case, it's
I see
found
what
out.
you're saying, and then you
Yeah.
say it's the timeline too.
Yeah,
They look at the, when you purchase
Right.
the shares.
so because you found information out based on your relationship, because I wasn't telling you that to advance yourself. If anything, you're supposed to be working towards advancing this trust, but don't take the trust information to take profits away. Now, notwithstanding, the trust may have not wanted to invest any further or did anything more. That's nothing to do with you.
Mhm.
You use your position to get yourself ahead. Yeah. Thank you. So, that's like the bank workers. They know the property is under distress, they know the
Oh, yeah, they
property.
go read them and.
So,
what
yeah,
they
you
can-
can't-
how much-
you're
how
not
much the
allowed to-
loan-
Okay, so that's
how
the
much
same thing.
outstanding on the loan?
Yeah, so you, or bid this, or, so,
Tell somebody.
yes, you can't do it. Isn't that the same situation? You would have profited from your position, and you didn't disclose that up front, right?
So like they're going to them and limit the information on,
That's the open book, if that's the question from the open book.
Yeah, just go in your book and you can find the answer.
but even,
So-
You want us to go ahead and do that now?
No, you're just doing the last set of review before you start writing.
so even Tom's, as a beneficiary, when his profits and director fees goes in constructive trust
For the trust,
for the trust,
it creates a constructive trust.
yeah,
Why?
there's a quarter of constructive trust, right?
So it's a constructive trust based on the fact that you receive profits.
Unjustly or something.
Yeah, you didn't disclose, you didn't find out, you didn't get approval first, now you just gone ahead and get it.
So now your money get paid.
So
That
you
ain't
trying
yours,
to
that
get
wasn't
a
yours
jump
in
on
the
the
first
other
place.
beneficiaries or
What do you get
whatever.
for all the work you did?
Nothing, you did it dishonestly.
So ain't nothing happening.
No, so that's the same thing, the people build on the place and they build the house on the land within there, that's what happened, they get anything back?
Yeah, no, breakdown.
Okay. So your contract is void ab initio, void from the beginning?
Yeah.
Because you would have not done what you were supposed to do. So disclosure will help you, eh? Approach the trustees, Zebedee, and say, you know, I think I'm interested, would it be okay, or can I get, and then can they even give it? That's another thing.
I don't know if they could, can they give a release to
So
say,
what I'm saying is, cause then the other beneficiaries will say, oh, well, if he doing that, I might
I
as well
could
do
do
it
that too,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and then it will look like a conflict.
Yeah, and then the solicitor, they say, why would I hire you if you will use my information to?
Because obviously that's to tack you on if you probably pressing and
Yeah.
asking and digging
Yes.
a little bit more.
Okay, identify 3 qualifications to the general rule concerning trustee remuneration.
Trustees
They
should
don't
be
have to,
there.
they don't have to be paid, but if they're going to be paid,
Who
it
can
should.
give it? Who's the 3 people?
Sorry?
Who's the 3?
The settler, the beneficiary.
No, know what it is? Who could give us remuneration?
The court,
The court?
The beneficiaries
The
or
trust-
the trust
the trust
instrument.
instrument.
No settler, no settler.
Yeah, I was,
Yeah.
but I was thinking the settler
Yeah.
via the
Yeah.
trust instrument, the
Right.
beneficiaries who are sojourners and the court.
Right.
depend,
Discuss the
Oh,
right
yeah.
of trustees to be indemnified out of the assets of the trust. How they can be indemnified? We talk about this.
If the trust instrument, oh, this is when they do expenses.
Indemnified.
They could be
Alright, we've
reimbursed
seen-
if the trust instrument provides that, if it's.
And what this indemnification is, what that is?
Is putting them back to the position they was in before they.
What the indemnification for? Would we try?
Oh, the insurance.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Against everything except one.
Breach
Yes.
of trust.
Okay, and that section.
That's 80.
What?
24.
Okay.
24,
We are supposed to know these sections
We
like.
tried, 24.
Yes.
Section 24.
Okay.
Insurance.
Indemnification.
What's the general rule concerning trustee
Which
remuneration?
question that was, is that?
That's, 6. What's the general rule concerning trustee remuneration?
Trustees are not entitled
They're not
to
entitled to
remuneration
remuneration,
at
but they
common
can
law.
be, once the trust instrument provides for it.
Why they're not entitled to remuneration at common law?
Because.
It's a what? What kind of position it is?
It's a
fiduciary.
No, what the G word was? What?
Gratuitous.
Yes, you're doing it just for
the goodness of it.
Yes, so you have to define it in your trust document, eh? Otherwise, what's gonna happen, we gotta go to who? Who gonna cast the card? Which case? Remuneration.
Duke?
Okay.
Duke.
What Duke say? To get remuneration? Pass or?
Past or future.
Okay. I need to put any more questions up there, y'all good?
No, don't.
You've been kind.
Okay. Y'all think y'all get a good grasp of everything? Yeah? Yes, no, maybe so. A long way. Just keep reconciling, you see what y'all have to do.
I just like how you went over that case, that making.
Yeah, this case on the surface, I wouldn't
Yeah, I
know.
wouldn't know what to.
I wouldn't have picked that up like it was like a constructive trust.
Cause that's what profits, right? I deal with secret profits of them.
And it's not like they just take their time and delve into that and just push it
Mm-hmm,
further along, so you just get,
yeah.
but the lawyer should know better.
Yeah, but he knows better, that's why he do it.
Like they go
I
back
can see the
to.
beneficiary being a
No,
little.
but like she said, even with the property here,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
use their knowledge
Yeah,
of putting the
yeah.
fence up to take your property.
Yeah, the lawyer should know better.
Just give me a banner.
That's why they know.
I could give the
Chief and
beneficiary
lawyers.
maybe some benefit as well, cause you know.
Not you, not you.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any
Teeth and
laws to
lawyers.
protect,
Boy,
But,
I see
the
what they
citizens
call
against
the
that.
sharks.
no, because they don't have the registration, you see, we don't have a registration of land.
we was just talking about this at work.
Yeah, they don't have that yet. You know, they keep advancing that, but then most of the people who in parliament don't want that advance, cause that's how they get most of their properties.
We was just talking about that at work.
Because you know, land was how you used to vote before, eh?
Mhm.
So land is
The more you
always
own, the
wealthy.
more votes you have, eh?
Yeah.
So how come they're not forced to do due diligence with the dormant accounts in terms of advertising and stuff like that?
But we've not
Yeah.
advanced anything, cause I mean, you know what they do with you with dormant accounts is they say you have to comply with these requirements. Most of the people can't get the requirements. So then they send your account over to central bank. Then what the
The
government
government said
do?
they'll take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But the bank,
Oh, I'm
but
saying-
recently they started sending you a notice.
yeah, but they were supposed to do it a long time, but
Yeah,
people
they
don't
should
hold
be
their
sending
feet to the
notice.
fire. Cause they can say, oh, you was using an old PO box, we sending and then we stopped sending mail and, you know, they send out these notices to say, oh, we're not doing this anymore. But then just put it in writing and then the Bahamians could lose out. So that's what they say, if you want us not to know anything, just put it in
Right,
writing.
then, yeah. Yeah, but they can get fooled with that too, for somebody to read it.
Yes, you
Yeah.
see.
I think they just take the public for granted too.
They take us for what we are, we don't do anything, we
Yeah.
lay back and just
Yeah.
talk.
The bank was saying the, interest rate in the fixed deposit is 0.0 or something.
Okay, so why you would put your money there? You might as well put it,
But
you,
Put it under the mattress?
no, you might as well invest it.
The best place to put your money, credit union.
They waste it. I mean, what I'm saying is,
At least that's it.
your money is only as good as your next tragedy. You could get property that constantly increases or anything else, but people that's saving in no thing no more. Because they killing us all over here with all diseases and stuff. So your money, if you don't have insurance,
It's a wrap.
and then the insurance is crooks, they ain't gonna pay nothing. This
Stop
woman-
saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
listen,
crook.
this woman paid,
Stop it, you
listen,
know.
this woman paying for
Given-
insurance. She went to the doctor for cancer treatment. They tell her, yeah, she'll be pre-approved. When the bill come back, they say, oh no, we're not paying for that drug. She have to find $87,000 for one treatment.
Wow.
How much?
They paid $7,000 out of the $99,000.
Wow, some kind of exception applying now.
Yeah, see, that's what I said, that's
Case or something.
crookedness, eh?
But they ain't gonna tell you that until,
But what
Should
I'm
be in
saying
the
is,
contract.
before she would have gotten it, they had to call the insurance company.
For approval, yeah.
Yes, so if you call me, that has to be some case that, if you call and they verify it, then you can't come back
They
and tell me it's
verify the
above.
full thing, or they verify to say they will only pay a certain percentage, or they verify the whole thing to say it's covered?
They have to say it covered in order for the,
The
especially in the
insurance
United
doctor to
States,
do
yes,
it.
yes. They doing that here, even in doctor's hospital, they doing that. That people go to doctor's hospital, they've already paid them co-pay, and then when you look, the insurance send back, say, oh no, we're not paying that.
It's probably excluded, that's the only reason?
Yeah, but then you need to know who's answering your phone to say, no, that's
Well,
excluded.
you know, a lot of things excluded.
Well, you
too.
know-
gotta go through that whole list of what excluded.
Yeah, but then once you give up, once you've accepted it, that's on you. When I had my last boy or the boy, they said, I paid the hospital, then they came back to me to say, the insurance company didn't cover, that's not my problem. You just realized that? Oh yeah, well, we're gonna have to, I said, I won't be paying that.
That was me
Because you
too.
accepted that. So let's go to court, but I'm not paying you $1.
Wow.
Yeah, because what I paying you for if you accepted it? And then you come so much later? Don't let it be statute
I
bar.
should have had you on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
because what happens is, I think the public get, even these companies, even like the hospital and stuff, I think they muscle in on your ignorance.
Yeah, see, what happens too is sometimes you just don't feel like going to court, but you need to
Once you
go.
get a court word,
Yeah,
it
you
be
need to
like,
go. A behemoth don't want to go. The bank carry you to court all the time, but you don't owe them half of what they saying you owe them, you know. If you go there and stand up to them, I will drag them for 50 cents. That's what you need to do with them. Just keep going back and forth and have your papers and asset, because they have to give you printout.
I went to the doctor in 2013 to test for, I think, food poisoning. And it ain't here, you know, it's in the States. Pop up on my social and see from 2013, they trying to charge me because my insurance didn't cover that from 2013
This is in the United States.
in the States.
When they charge you, when they
So
start
they,
charging.
they,
When they send you the
open
bill.
they send out the collections.
last month.
They already send out
Well,
the
you need to
collections.
check their statute of limitations. There's limitations on these things.
Well, the thing is, I'm here now,
Mhm.
and they're there.
Is it a
and
private or
things-
if it's a public?
There's a, I think it's public.
You don't want it to be public, because then the
I
government
think,
is,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
But they, you know, they
The
send,
government don't play with you.
they send all your records to, tax collectors. And, they put it on my social, and the only reason I ended up paying it off is just because my credit was starting to drop.
Yeah, so you in that position. Bayman just don't pay them, so that's the end of that.
Yeah, like if I didn't have, I wouldn't pay.
So I got these questions.
Yeah, you're doing that now, and you're gonna give the paper for me, alright?
I wrote it on my book.
You give us some papers already.
He has the papers right there, he said he has papers for that.
Yeah.
When you're finished, you could just give Miss Bullet the papers, please.
Oh, so you pushing on her?
Yes.
What happened if we have all your
I will
contacts,
send you
so
all
we
your
can
back
do
the
your format
email with
to
to
you,
tell
right?
you what y'all did and then what the answer was.
So we get the papers back?
That's what I'm gonna scan it back to
Oh, okay.
each person individually.
Lord, we get the papers back?
Which one, there?
Yeah.
Yes, and then you'll know how to answer
Well,
it.
I mean, we could get the actual papers back instead of the printer.
Which print, which mail?
And we get this back from
Yeah,
you.
you're gonna leave it, but I could scan it back into you.
Okay. But I mean, we can't get this back instead of having the printer.
No.
You
You
can
can
give it
get
back
the
to her,
scan
you don't
copy.
give it to her.
No, I can scan it back to you.
It's not, you really did.
That's, you don't have to print it, you could just look at it on the
So you got
computer.
that last
What's
name?
number 7 say, if you don't mind me asking?
Which one, Bear? If the trustee's discretion isn't exercised fairly and independently, the trust may be considered a. That's what you can do in that open book right there. You go write down the answer.
So you say you're into homeless.
Right here in this bullet room, I can tell them how y'all go put in. Take care,
Okay,
Thank you.
y'all do well.
if you let it go.
Thank you very much.
Yes, not a problem.